Okay, madam.
So good morning everyone. Today let us see the continuation for unit 6. In the last class we have started unit 6 in web technologies, which is programming with Ruby. As a part of that we have seen some introduction to Ruby also. So Ruby is a object oriented programming language, which is a server side programming language, and it is platform independent, and it has the many similarities with Perl and Python. And the most influenced programming languages which influenced the Ruby was Smalltalk, if a ladder, and it was invented by Matsumoto in 1995. And the important concept in Ruby programming is Rails, and we have already seen what is Rails also. So we have already seen what is Rails also. So what is a Rails actually? We have a framework, the framework which is used in the Ruby. So Rails is a framework which is used in the Ruby programming language for designing of dynamic web applications. And mainly this Rails concept is used in Disney, GitHub, Basecamp, Twitter and Yellow Pages. So these and all we have seen in the last class only. About the variables also we have seen in the last class. Examples of variables also we have seen. And the next one is running the Ruby program. So we can run the Ruby program in two different ways, either in the command line or in the web-based execution. So how to run the Ruby programming in command line also we have seen in the last class. We are creating a file called text.rb. In that file we have the program to print welcome to Ruby. And we are storing this test.rb file in the C drive Ruby bin folder. So after that we are opening the command prompt and we are typing cd ruby bin. Then again we can see the output of test.rb. Here we are not using any Tomcat or Apache. So now the next one is how to execute a Ruby program. How to execute a Ruby program on web-based execution. For that also simply what we are doing. First you should open C drive, Jamp folder, Apache folder, config file you should open. There you have to remove the hash symbol between the script alias. And then you have to save that config file as C drive, Jamp, CGI bin. Then you need to open the control panel and you need to start Apache. Then what you should do, you should create a file. That file name is test.rb. Why we are saving the file with the extension RB? Because it is the Ruby programming. So we have created the file test.rb. We have opened the control panel and started the Tomcat and Apache, and we are removing the hash symbols in script aliases, and then we are saving the config file as CIG and bin. In the test.rb file we have the message like print welcome to Ruby. Then you can open the web browser. In that web browser you have to type http localhost CGI bin what is the program name? Test.rb. So you should open the web browser and you should type the localhost address. So first you should create a file test.rb. Because it is the Ruby programming, so the extension is .rb. So you have to save the config files and you have to start the Apache and Tomcat. After doing all these things, you can open the web browser and you can type http localhost test.rb file name. This is how we'll execute. This is how we'll execute a Ruby programming on web-based execution in the web browser. So what all we have seen till now? So you know what is a Ruby, what is a Rails, and what are the variables in the Ruby programming language. Then what is the example? Then how can you execute the Ruby programming using command line? How can you execute the Ruby programming in web browser? Now let us start an important topic in every programming language, which is nothing but a data types. So in every programming language we will have the data types. In Ruby also we have the data types. So what data types we have? What type of data types we have in Ruby? Numeric data type, string data type, true and false data type, nil data type, symbols data type, array data type, hash and range. So what are the data types we have? Numeric, strings, nil, true or false, symbols, range. So these are the different types of data types we have in the Ruby programming. Let us see one by one. So first one, numeric. A numeric is nothing but series of digits. If you want to represent a decimal number, you are using dot. Optionally, you can use underscores also as a separator. So see here, numeric data type is nothing but a series of digits. If you want to represent a decimal number, you can use the dot. Or optionally, you can use the underscore also for representing. So first one is numeric data type. So see here, example, you can also use an underscore to separate the 1000 places. However, it is optional. See here, you can use the underscore to separate the 1000 places, but using the underscore is an optional. So if you write like this also, a equal to 1 underscore 234.56 is same. A equal to 1234.56. Both are same. If you use underscore or if you don't use underscore, it doesn't mean in the Ruby programming. It is optional. If you want, you can use. But the meaning is, see here, a equal to 1 underscore 2 underscore 3 underscore 4. This is similar to 1, 2, 3, 4 only. Underscore does not make any change, but you want, you can use it in the optional way. So this is about numeric. So see what is the hierarchy, how this numeric data type came. First we have objects that are divided into numerics and matrix. Then numeric is again divided into integer and floating point. That integer again divided into fixed number, big number, complex number, rational number. This is the hierarchy of some built-in classes. We can call it a built-in class, we can call it a data type. How this hierarchy formed actually? First we have the objects. That objects we divided into matrices and numerics. These numerics again divided into integers, floating points. These integers again divided into fixed number, big number, complex number and rational number. This is all about numeric data type. So next one, strings. So in any language, string is the same group of characters. So strings can be defined as a text. We can enclose the strings in double quotations or we can enclose in single quotations also. If you see here, S1 is a string which is enclosed in the double quotation. S2 is a string which is enclosed in the single quotation. So strings are nothing but a group of characters, a group of letters or text, you can call it simply. And you can enclose strings in double quotes or single quotes in Ruby programming. In Ruby programming, you can enclose the strings in double quotations or you can enclose it in single quotations also. So the next one is true or false. So see here, true or false is a kind of data type in Ruby. Actually, we will have boolean values in any programming language. Boolean value is also nothing but either true or false or yes or no or 0 or 1. Similarly, true and false is a data type in Ruby. See here what it will represent. It will represent the truth or false about an object. So you have a thing or you have a number or you have an array. Anything about anything, it will represent either true value or false value. See here I have given a equal to true. I want to print a. I want to get the output print a dot class. So I got output as true class. So I have given here a equal to false and I want to print the a class. So I got the output as false class. So in any programming language we will have the boolean values. Boolean values are nothing but either 0 or 1 or true or false or yes or no. Same way in Ruby programming also we have a data type called true and false. What it will do? About numbers or about strings or about arrays or about any object, it will tell you the truth value or false value. Further classes you will know what it is, but simply now if you for a variable if you assign true, it will print the true class. For a variable if you assign false, it will print the false class. So this is the second type of data type. True and false. So the next one. So let us see the example. In all conditions, either we should return a true or we should return a false based on the condition tested. So see here, I have taken a variable A, I have taken another variable B, and I have assigned the value for A equal to 10 and B equal to 20, and I want to print A greater than B. Does 10 greater than 20? No, that's why it has given false. So we are talking about true and false of a data type. When this true and false data type will work to give any truth value or false value. For that, if you see example, you will understand. I have taken 10 and 20 values to two variables and I want to compare A greater than B, which is not true. That's why it gave the output as false. See here, same example, A equal to 10 and B equal to 20. I want to check A less than B. Obviously 10 always less than 20 only. So output we got true. So this is what true and false data type is. About numbers, about strings or about variables or about arrays, about anything, it will give either truth value or false value. Here I have taken the variables and I am giving the condition. What it should return either true or it should return either false based on the condition. So what are the conditions here? A greater than B is the condition, A less than B is the condition. When this condition is wrong, it gave us false. When this condition is true, it gave us true. Simple. So first data type is numeric, where using underscore is an optional. Second data type is string. You already know, but in Ruby programming language, strings can be enclosed in single quotations or double quotations. Third data type is true or false, which will give you either truth value or which will give you either false about a value. Next data type is nil. So nil means nothing. Simply, if you don't have anything, then if you don't have anything in a class, if you don't have anything in an object, then you are going to use the nil data type. So your object means nothing, your class means nothing. In Ruby there is a thing called nil, which will represent the absence of things. So in Ruby programming only, especially we have the data type like nil, which will represent the absence of objects or absence of classes. Means when you don't have the objects, when you don't have the classes in any programming language or in Ruby especially, then we are going to use the nil data type. So if you see here also, A is initialized to nil and I want to print A. That's why nil class is printed. Otherwise simply you can print nil class directly also. So nil means nothing, having nothing, absence of everything. This is one data type. And next data type is symbols. Symbols in Ruby programming are called as lightweight objects. So you already know what are the objects in Java, so I am not repeating the concepts of objects again. So in Java you know what is an object, what is a class, how to create a class, how to create an object, you know very well in Java programming. So since you know all the programming languages from the previous classes, I am just talking about Ruby only. Again, I am not telling you people what is a class, what is an object and how to create all these things. So simply when you know what is an object, symbols data type in Ruby is nothing but a lightweight object which is used for comparison of internal logic. Symbols are created by adding colon in front of a word. Symbols are created by adding colon in front of a word. So symbol is a lightweight process. It is used for comparison of internal logic. Symbol is created by adding colon in front of a word. So symbols are special, limited, and symbols are unique identifiers which are used to represent static values. So symbol is a data type which is a lightweight object which is used for comparison of internal logic, and you can create the symbols by adding a colon between the colon in front of the word. And symbols are special kind and unique characters which are used to represent the static values. So this is the next data type. So add is a word. For this word I added colon and it can become a symbol. So the next one, array. Array data type. As I told you many a times, array can be a data type. Array anywhere, in any programming languages, array is nothing but which will contain some similar kind of objects. Array will contain similar kind of elements. Simple. In any programming language, array will contain some objects, array will contain some elements, array will contain similar kind of elements. For a Ruby array, it is legal to hold multiple types of objects at the same time. This you should understand. In any programming language, all the fruits can be an array, all the vegetables can be an array, all the climatic conditions can be an array, all the students can be an array. In any other programming languages, array is simply to hold the group of values, array is simply to hold the group of elements. But in Ruby programming, it is very genuine and it is very legal for an array to hold multiple type of objects at the same time. To hold multiple types of objects at the same time. If you see here, A equal to 10, 20, 30 can also be treated as array in the Ruby. A equal to 10, real ITS 30, 3.14 can also be treated as an array. This is the difference here. The white color representation A equal to 10, 20, 30 can be an array. A equal to 10, real ITS 30 and so on also can be treated as an array in Ruby programming. So important point you need to understand is, in any other programming language, in any other different programming language, array is just to hold a similar type of elements. But the special case in Ruby is holding different type of elements at the same time can also be an array. So in Ruby, it is legal to have to hold multiple types of objects at the same time. So this example 2 is apt for that. A is an array so that it can hold multiple types of values at the same time. It is legal in Ruby programming. So the next data type is hash. So hash is a collection of values, hash is a collection of integers, hash is collection of any kind of data. So if you see here, again the temperatures of the different places is taken and hashed. A is a hash. Why we are calling it as a hash? Because we have the collection of pairs or collection of values, pair of values. Simply to tell pair of values. Guntur and 40 are pair. Vijayawada and 42 are pair. Ongole and 44 is a pair. So what you should understand, in array we can have different types of values at the same time. In hash we can have different types of values as a pair at the same time. So having different types of values as a pairs at the same time, simply. So hash is nothing but hash is also a data type. It can also hold different types of values at the same time, but holding the values as a pair is the quality of hash. So Guntur along with 40 is a pair. Same way, holding the pairs at the same time is nothing but hash data type. So the next data type is range. Range is nothing but collection of values. A to Z can be a range. A to Z can be a range. 0 to 9 can be a range. 1 to 100 can be a range. So range is nothing but collection of values. If you see here also, print is used to display output and 1 to 8 is taken as the range. So range is the one more data type. So what data types we have seen till now? So we started with the numeric. Numeric is nothing but series of digits. You can use underscore if you want, but it does not make any change. So what is the hierarchy of the numeric? How it came? From the objects we got numeric, from the numeric we got integer and float, and from there to rational numbers and complex numbers. Next one is string. In Ruby programming, string can be enclosed either in single quotations or double quotations. Next one is true or false. So which will, in any programming language we will have boolean values. Here we have true or false data type, which will give you the truth value or false value about by testing any condition. So if the condition is true, it will give you true. If the condition is false, it will give you false. Next one is nil data type. Nil data type is nothing but absence of everything. If you don't have classes, you don't have objects, anything you don't have, that is a nil data type. So next one is symbols. Symbols are the lightweight objects. They are used for comparison of internal logics. Symbols are created by adding a colon symbol in front of a word. So symbols are special and they are unique identifiers, and symbols are used to store the static values. And next one is array. Very important point you should remember here is, in any programming language, array is to hold the similar type of elements. But in Ruby, array can hold multiple type of objects at the same time. You can see the example here. So in Ruby programming, it is legal to hold multiple type of objects at the same time for an array. So next one is hash. Hash is nothing but hash also will hold the different types of values, but hash will hold the pair of values. So the city name and temperature is a pair. So hash can hold the pair of values. And the last data type is range. Range is nothing but having range is also used to store values only, but the collection of values here are series of values. So A to Z can be a range, 1 to 100 can be a range. So this is about data types. So what are the different data types we have seen? This is about data types. Next we will see what do you mean by simple input and output. In Ruby programming, what do you mean by simple output and input? Let us see. So input is any data that is read from the program, either from the keyboard or other files. Output is the data that is produced from the program. Several classes in Ruby have methods for doing input and output operations. So input is any data that you can take from keyboard or program. Output is nothing but data that is produced by the program. In Ruby we have several classes. In Ruby programming we have the concept of classes for doing the input and output operations. This is the very important point. In Ruby programming language, for doing input and output operations, we have different types of classes. For example, kernel, IO, dir or file. So input is taken either from keyboard or taken from program. Output is produced by that program. So to do all these input and output operations in Ruby programming, we have different methods and different classes. So let us see what are those. What are the several methods we have for printing output? So in Ruby programming language, what are the several methods we have for printing output? Print, puts, p, printf, putc. So print is a method, puts is a method, p is a method, printf is a method, putc is a method. So as I already told you, we have different classes, we have different methods for input and output in Ruby. Some of the output methods are print, p, puts, printf, putc. So if you want to produce a textual if you want to produce text as output, you are going to use print or puts. If you want to produce text as output, you are going to use prints or put. Same way, if you want to produce string as output, you will use printf. If you want to use printf for producing string as the output. So if you want to give any character as the output, if you want to give any character, if you want to display any character as the output, then you will give putc as the output console. So in Ruby programming, we have different types of methods. In Ruby programming, we have methods for inputs and outputs. For giving outputs in Ruby programming, we have printf, puts, printf, putc. If you want to give one character, as output, putc method is used. If you want to give string as output, printf method is used. If you want any textual thing as output, you use print or puts. So these are the methods for outputs. So we have several methods for input also. See, read method is used to take the input. Gets method is used to take the input. So we have Ruby programming language. In that we have classes. In that we have methods. In these methods we are performing IO operations. In a Ruby programming, we have the concept of classes, methods, which are used for performing input and output operations. There are several methods for reading inputs also. First one is read. To read the data as a standard input. Second method is gets. Gets method also used to give the input. So these are the different methods we have. Print, printf, puts are for methods for output. Read, gets are the methods for input. So let us see the example. So in this example we are using puts. So I wanted text output. So we are using the method puts. So welcome /n is used for next line. /n is used for going to next line. So welcome to Ruby. If you want in a single line, you want to use the single quotations. Welcome to Ruby. If you want in a separate line, you should use double quotations, and you are using /n for the next line. So see here, if you use the double quotations and /n, you will get the welcome to Ruby in 3 separate lines. If you use the single quotations, it will treat it as a single line, and /n also will be printed in the output. If you use the single quotations, Ruby will treat